James Brown, one of the longtime friends of the show, made the trip down to Burlington along with many of the New York drivers and braved the Weld Compacts division. There was 48 cars, I believe, in the stock compacts. There was another 28 or so in the Weld Compacts, and James went down to Burlington and spoiled a bunch of the Keystone Staters' day and took the win. James is now on the line with us. We're going to get him in real quick because he's got to get off to his bowling league night before, so we don't want to impede on that too much. Man, James, congratulations on the win. I saw that trophy sitting in the front seat of the truck and was awful happy for you.
Thanks very much. I had no business going down there for the junk I had, but, you know.
What you brought a car down there, and your Facebook post repeatedly described it as tired. Which car was that you took down there? Because I know you generally don't throw anything away.
Right, yeah. I took my Paradise car. I ran a Paradise, took third there at a 48 last October. It's just been sitting in the front yard as a COVID derby ornament all year long, and I couldn't let it go. I had too much life left, but not really enough for a win. So I put some Band-Aids on it and decided to drive 2 hours and take my chances.
You said that you guys worked together to make sure that as much of the money and trophies came back to New York as possible. I was trying to keep up with everybody that had gone down there. Who else that you knew of was on track with you in that heat?
Both Eldridge boys were there. Toby Wise, Luke Hobart. Let's see. Trying to think. There was a bunch of them. Corey Herzog. Guy Raymond Jr. was there.
Nice.
I think that was pretty much about it.
Lee Sager, Prodigy Gaming, he went down there and got just about to the top 5 in that really, really deep stock division. And I think it was just a matter that the car ran out of water is what I remember hearing. His car got hot, and that was that. And by the time it cooled down, he was able to drive it on the trailer. You don't travel out of state a whole lot. Between your work schedule that you try to keep at the restaurant in Geneva and all the other challenges that you've got in terms of the irons that you've got in the fire, you don't get out of state a whole lot. When was the last time you drove outside of New York?
Oh, probably 2-3 years ago at least.
Yeah, so it's been a little while.
Well, probably when I went to Bash, probably was the last time I went. Just went to watch.
So I mean, it's been a bit since you broke outside of New York. I mean, going down there, you said that you had no business going down there. We've talked at length about your career and everything over the last 7 years or so, and gone from being the hammer and trying to drive smarter and refine the build and do a better job with the construction of the car and get the car to last. Is this sort of a culmination of all those parts and pieces? You've won at the county fair level. Now you went and you won a pretty sizable postseason show.
Yeah, you know, I didn't even care about winning the show. I just wanted the car gone. It's got a lot of my good parts in it. I'm just going to spend the winter building motors this year, not going to worry about cars this winter. But, I mean, I just went down there and made New York proud. I just wanted to go down there and put the hammer down, and it just so happened that I was there at the end. There was definitely some stiff competition. Them PA boys can definitely build good cars, but, I lost steering in the last 7-8 minutes of the Derby, and I guess I got lucky. I mean, if I saw somebody without steering, I would have just left them.
How was it that you were able to last that long with no steering in the Weld cars like that? You know, you'd think that with no steering and some of the other issues that were causing the car to labor, that it would put you at a disadvantage. Those guys happened to stay close enough to you where you could stay active with a little bit of that dirty derby equation, but all the same, I mean, it's still no easy task to drive a front-wheel drive car without the steering.
Right. It was definitely odd and definitely different. I broke the rack in half, so it wasn't like I had a tie rod or anything that was messed up. So I mean, the wheel just spun, but it was still pretty solid. So the tires stayed pretty straight for the most part. I just played my game, stayed, calmed down, and just waited for the shots to come and took ugly shots just to get turned in certain directions, and just played the game and just made it the best I could.
Well, it certainly did pan out in the right way with the win. Shifting gears now to everything that's been going on up here, tons of renovations to the restaurant. the challenges with Jerry and your family after the accident. How is everybody doing? Teresa having the issues with her ankle and everything. You guys have been very busy and still were able to put the car together, and it's got to be a little bit of a relief to pull that win down.
Oh, absolutely. Deciding a week and a half prior to the Derby to piece a car back together that had no heart in it, and it was nose to the sky, and it was in really rough shape. But I just spent long hours after work every day, put my 12, 14 hours in at work, put another 6 hours in at night, slept when I could, and just, did the best I could. It's tough with my brother and everything going on right now. I'm only one person. I only got two hands. I can only be so many places at once. And, thankfully everybody supported me and stepped up where they could, and we made it happen.
That is outstanding. How's the bowling team this year?
Not too bad. It's not, I didn't really want to bowl in another league. 33 weeks is a long, long time. But Pat from the bowling alley at Sunset here in Border City, he asked me if I wanted to bowl on his team, and I said I'd be honored. So me and Sean from work, we both decided to jump on the team and take that dive into 33-week league, and it's been really well. I'm not the best bowler, but I'm just here to have fun.
Well, I mean, that's sort of your motto. I've heard you say that sentence a lot, whether you're talking about the restaurant, whether you're talking about Ontario County, Yates County, Seneca County Fair Derby cars, getting ready to go to Paradise, or now in this case, just going down to Pennsylvania to finish a car and have a good time. And this time it paid dividends for you with the win. When the steering rack broke, was there a point where you thought, boy, I don't know if we're going to be able to pull this thing off?
Oh, as soon as it broke, I mean, I ended up full tracking Luke Hobart in the front driver's side tire, and right then and there, I just knew my wheel just started spinning, and I says, "Oh, that was nice." I counted them afterwards. I hit over 60 people. I hit over 60 times in the Derby. It was pretty impressive for myself. I was very proud, but I thought I was done right then and there. Right as soon as I hit him, I had no steering. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I just, got myself together and just said, all right, now it's time to play smart. So driving like an idiot all night, it's time to just sit back and see what I can make out of this. And
is it an adrenaline rush, or is it panic when you realize you got a car that's been running pretty good, and all of a sudden that steering wheel just spins in your hands? And how hard is it to regain yourself?
Oh, it's severe panic. Knowing that you just went down from 28 to top 7, I would say. You had that real hard rear-wheel drive, whether it was a Pacer or Gremlin or whatever it was, still left. And Guy Raymond was still out there. And, Toby Wise, Luke Hobart, and Corey Herzog were all out there still. And I was like, man, there's some good drivers. And what am I going to do now? Because, me and Corey battled it out a few times. And, I've known Guy for quite a while. And me and Toby go back quite a ways. And, it's like I know these people. And, are they going to take advantage of this? Or are they going to, how are we going to do this? And it just so happened that, it worked out in my favor.
Is there any likelihood that they didn't realize you'd lost steering?
I would imagine so, because I've had a lot of people that were there and that watched the videos that didn't even notice I lost steering until I started trying to make shots, and I was driving right past the car that I was, I guess you could say, aiming for, if there was an aiming ability at that time. But
sure.
It probably was, because they kept turning me right perfect, so I could just nudge somebody and make my hit when I needed to every, minute and a half.
With the rack out of that, just because I don't know enough about how the front end is put together on that. With the rack coming out of it, does that put you at any greater risk of losing the front drive shafts?
No, the rack sits on the back portion of the subframe. It's what the tie rods go into. Your steering column goes down and attaches to the top of the rack, and that's what makes the tires turn. So the whole top of the the rack blew right off of it. So it was almost locked up in one direction.
Right.
No, there was no, I mean, you could hit the tires a little bit, no full turn, anything, even if they hit me hard in the tires. So I was going straight forward, backwards, regardless.
Right. I mean, I'm just thinking about some of the times that we've seen, like at Wheel Days, one of the cars, at least that sticks out in my mind, one of the compacts had lost steering and was having issues with the front end as a whole. And the wheel, when he would step on the throttle, the wheel would snap one direction or another. And eventually that wheel snapped one way and it came too far over, and a wise driver saw it and came along and tagged it and was able to ultimately break the drive shaft, and that's what took him out. So I was wondering if you were fighting something like that, but with the way that rack broke, locking it in essentially a forward position, I can see where that's a bit of a silver lining, I guess you could say, versus the alternative.
Yeah, and most of the times when the tire starts flopping, it's usually a broken tie rod. I mean, that's what holds your whole tire straight, and your ball joints on the bottom obviously keeps the bottom in, but the tie rods were both still in there, and I mean, they were reinforced. They weren't bending regardless, but it's the first time I've ever blown a rack to pieces like that. It was very different, and someone kept asking me, did I make the rookie mistake of not having a slider steering shaft in there? And it's like, no, I had a 16-inch slider in there. It's not going anywhere. It's not falling out like they do a lot of times. It literally broke the rack, blew the whole top of it off. I've never seen it.
Well, I guess you just made it too hard.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, it had probably a whole case of Band-Aids on it. So, I mean, it was, you know, they say where paint makes it 10% harder. You know, you never know.
That's right. That's right. I know you've got bowling coming up here. I appreciate you making some time for us. I hope everything continues to go well with the restaurant and facing some of the adversity, and the renovations continue to trend well for you. And I hope that your brother continues to recover well, and everybody at home stays healthy. And above all else, man, congratulations on the win. I was very happy to hear it, and it's certainly well-deserved.
Thank you very much. You know, like I said, I definitely didn't plan on that happening, and I definitely very joyous that it did. Just got to stay humble, and, you know, not there for a long time. I'm just there for a good time. So,
right on.
Thanks for having me. I definitely appreciate it. I wish I could be there tonight, but
I got you. We will get together at some point, I'm sure. Before I let you go, anybody that you want to make mention of?
Yeah, I want a special thanks, Richie. His son goes to school with Mickey. He definitely gave me a huge help, you know, ever since Jerry got hurt, and a lot of his friends are in the woods hunting right now. It's tough to get them out of the woods and get people helping. So it was myself pretty much and him that did most of the work. And special thanks to Teresa for, you know, dealing with the long days, long nights, and being my video master, making sure that we got good shots and we're well fed and everything's taken care of while we do this crazy life called Demolition Derby.
All right, man. Well, I sure do appreciate it, James. We'll catch up with you soon. Congratulations again, and enjoy your bowling league.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good night.
We'll see you now.